Coffee, big cup, and hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Gilmore Way podcast. This week, we're excited to be back with one of our favorite people, Jennie, founder of the FanFest Society, who has kindly graced us with her presence once again to preview this year's Firelight event, happening October 17th through 19th in Guilford, Connecticut.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Welcome. Thank you for
Welcome.
joining us again. 10 years ago, you said you had a pesky idea to plan this Gilmore Girls fan event, and here we are celebrating our 10th year. And this year we're going back to Guilford. You've mentioned every time as well that you go somewhere a second time, it feels really familiar and like a reunion, and it's fun to visit the same places over again. So can you tell us a little bit about what went into the decision to return to Guilford again this year?
Yeah, first off, I'm glad that people enjoy it, enjoyed the festival that we're at this point of 10 years, and then also that we're able to go back to Guilford. When I walked into Guilford the first time, just felt like this place is really special. It kind of ticks all the boxes of a place that I wanted, somewhere I could really see the festival take place at. And so last year we kind of met the town, all of us together. We went through the process of, learning, the business, the layout, how the flow and structure worked. We were asked to do the event last year at the barn at the agricultural center, and it worked really well. People seemed like, this is kind of a nice set apart space from the downtown or the green. I guess I shouldn't call it downtown. It's more of a town green. It was set apart and it was really quaint and beautiful out at the barn, but it did have this logistical, not issue, but kind of like a logistical situation of how do we get back and forth? How much time are we in this tent or in the barn versus how much time are we in the green? And so whenever we were starting to think through what would we do this year, my first ask was to Guilford was, hey, if we're able to come back, could we move this to the green? That would be like my biggest stipulation, is wanting to try this out. And maybe it works better. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is nice to be kind of set apart from the town. But that was my first ask, was I'd kind of like to try it somewhere different, because as you've said, we've done this event for almost 10 years now. This is our 10th annual fall event, but I think actually it's 10 years next year, but I don't know how that time is. Math time isn't my strong suit. But it's been since 2016, and we've never been in the same town more than twice. And we've never been in the exact same location, except for when we were in Ogunquit in the theater. So for us to be in the same town, I thought, let's try something different, see where this location works. And the green just seemed pretty stereotypical, like the quintessential experience of, we're going to have a tent in the green, we're going to have a town surrounding us, and we'll all be in a place where we can kind of walk and mill about and just enjoy community together. And so we're pretty excited to try it out, see how this works for everyone.
Were there any really big standout moments for you from the 2024 event in Guilford that really just had you being like, yes, we need to come back here?
That's funny. Typically the standout moments for me aren't the same standout moments for everyone else. For me, it's, phew, this works, or like, oh man, people look happy. Like, I get my response typically comes from the feedback of others, which I don't think it always has to, but for some reason, whenever I see people enjoying themselves, it makes me feel like, oh, this is working. The standout moment for me was not one of them. It was hundreds of people saying, this town feels like Stars Hollow. What a cool opportunity to be here in this town. Which that was, my side as a planner, making sure people are happy, making sure this is a good fit for the group. Funny standout moments, I still laugh about Greg Henry in the tent. That to me is probably one of those moments where I kind of think, was it the fire marshal that came out because his alert went off? I just still laugh that we were like, the firemen are here, and no one knew who it was. And then I actually don't remember the story. I just remember, you guys may remember better than me, all of a sudden we're sitting in the tent and we're in the middle of a big event, and people come in saying the fire marshals are here, or the police are here. And it was one of our cast members had an alert that went off at some point on his phone. Standout events for me, gosh, are probably the moments where I'm standing back and seeing people meet their friends, see them again for the first time in a year. The moments where I see cast excited to see attendees, not attendees to see cast. Of course, the attendees are excited to see the cast, but it's really special to me whenever I see a cast member like look genuinely thrilled to be around people. I think, man, this is kind of the magic. This is what it's all about. Seeing the town selectman ask if his daughters could be a part of the event, and then him wanting to welcome the Fan Fest to Guilford, those kind of things are really neat. It means the town wants to be a part of it. The cast wants to be a part of it. The attendees are glad to be there. Before the weekend was over, I already had people saying, hey, can we come back here next year? So those are the kind of things when you're putting something like this, really want to see happen. You want to make sure that, you know, what you're planning is coming to fruition and making people happy.
Yep. Going back to what you said, I think it was Greg Henry's life alert that went off. And yes. I think it was because there was such a buzz in the tent that maybe I think it picked up the noise, or it just triggered something, or it maybe even could have offset some of his own like biometrics that yes. like had so his excited. App thinking that he was like having some sort of heart.
What if he was so excited his app went off? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and it was the first night too, and he was so excited to be there and so affable. I wasn't expecting to see him up on the stage within the first 10 minutes of us being at this.
Neither actually surprised me, because no one knows this, but the cast come in on Thursday, and typically I say, hey, you can go right to the hotel or wherever you're staying and get settled, and then we'll see you in the morning, and their schedule's not until the next day. And every year they surprise me and they come. As soon as they get there, they say, take me straight to the tent. I'll go say hi to everyone. And that's never been something that I've orchestrated. So whenever I think he walked in, I remember seeing him and Stan. I think Nick was there because he was taking photos.
Devin was there.
Devin, maybe Rona came in. It was like this moment where I thought, oh my gosh, they all came. What are they doing here? And then he just jumped on stage, and I thought, oh, this is really fun. So that was, I think when he jumped on stage, the first time I'd ever seen him in person. I don't think I'd even met him yet. So to see him jump on stage is really fun. Standout moments for me, there are all sorts of things. I mean, honestly, nothing ever, I wouldn't say surprises me because I put the schedule together myself, but just the way it kind of folds into form. Those are the kind of things that surprise me when I see a cast member go 10 feet out of their way to make someone happy. It just kind of like warms your heart.
I think another standout moment for me also revolves around Greg, but it's when he participated in the coffee monologues and got to read Emily's epic takedown of Shira Huntsberger. Hearing that come out of Mitchum Huntsberger's mouth was just the icing on the cake of a perfect weekend.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fun. Yeah. No, I always look forward to the coffee monologues. I think that Stan does an incredible job kind of putting that together. And I think he has some special things in store for this year. I think he's working on maybe adding a few monologues, maybe, I don't know. He's working on something. He told me the other day, and he said, should I send this to you now? And I said, wait till you're ready to share it. But very excited for that. So it will be returning. I guess I should say that. We'll have another coffee monologues this year.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the standout moments, and it is definitely like an if you know thing, but like all hail the almighty gourd.
Yes.
Yes. I just love how there was this just random squash gourd on stage.
Major character of the event.
Just became like the prop and like the go-to thing of the event, where like Rona was using it to like, and Katie was using it to like judge the costume contest and hold it over people's heads for applause. I know Devin was getting in on it. And the gourd just became its own thing, and I am not mad about it.
I probably should make a note real quick of like, make sure I have gourds available on hand. Yeah, I think I just bought a bunch of things to put on stage. It was like props, and I think they were looking for something, and then it became a whole thing. Yeah, I think that's kind of just what FanFest is. It's these unexpected moments where a friend of mine was talking through some Instagram trend recently, and it was kind of like, I forgot this was the whole point. Have you seen this trend? It's like, you know, regular photos, regular everything, but it's like you miss the important moments sometimes. Like I forgot this was the whole point. And it's the people together, it's those extra special moments, it's the things that just pop up out of nowhere that you're like, yeah, I expect cast members to be there, attendees to be there, everyone to be talking Gilmore Girls, but it's the moments in between that you're like, oh, that's actually why we're all here. And so yeah, that makes you feel really good.
Yeah. All the jokes that came out of that gourd.
Yeah, so many.
People were talking about it for days after on the planning group. It was so fun.
Yep. But you've also mentioned too that a lot of people gave you that feedback that Guilford felt like Stars Hollow.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got that vibe check from? Was it like the coffee shops, the local businesses, the restaurants? What did you hear from people about like what made it feel that way?
I think that the idea that it's, of all the towns we've been in, it's definitely the biggest green space area where you have this green space with the town really revolves around it. When you're in Washington Depot, there's not really a true green. There's a green in front of the town hall, but it's not a square. It's not like a walkable kind of thing. It's not the same. Kent is more of a long street that went back and forth. There's some green spaces, but not like that. When we were in Unionville, same thing, just a really long, beautiful street. Agunquit is just this really cool seaside town. When you go to Lakeville, that was just the secret event. When you're on a cruise, when you do all these things, you don't see what you want to see. This green space with this beautiful church and these falling leaves and these stores that go around it. I think the setting of it felt very familiar to people. It's what you kind of wanted FanFest to always look like. I do think that there were, a number of shops, and you could go in and they would recognize you after I went in after a few days, and the coffee shop lady was like, "Oh, you're still here," like as if I just met you and you're still here. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for the Gilmore Girls event." And you go into dinner and they're like, "How is everything? How's your weekend going?" Like they're not just taking my order; they know I'm here for the weekend. I think it was just that familiar feeling. I know that for us, all of the businesses were very glad to be a part of it. They were glad to see people. They were smiling. They were happy. They were gracious. They were funny. I think the idea that when you're driving into it, you're not expecting to like pull down and just see this beautiful green and everything aligned. And just, I don't know, I think maybe just more of the layout, the drive, the distance from Hartford. I'm like, it's kind of all the things that you think Stars Hollow really is. It's just this unexpected place that makes you feel really happy. And there's probably everything you really need there. And all the people that you wanted to be right there too. So I think that may have been it. I don't know. I think that might be a good question for an attendee sometime to say, I mean, what about you guys? What did you feel about Guilford? You had been to Unionville. I mean, you had been to Gunquit. You'd seen kind of what our layout was before. Did you think this felt different, better, like more Stars Hollow? What was the response you guys had?
I would say for me, definitely a Stars Hollow feel, just because when you're trying to equate it back to what you see within the show, obviously Guilford, I think, is much, much closer to Stars Hollow. But that's not to dismiss Algonquin by any means, because that seaside town was magical. I would go back there in a heartbeat. If you took it back there any one of these years, I would not hesitate. So both towns were just lovely. They had their own feel. Algonquin, it was really nice just being able to like, sit seaside almost and just enjoy like seafood and that atmosphere. When you go to Barnacle Billy's, you're right there along the rocks and on the water, which was just an awesome view to have. Yeah. You're not going to get that in Guilford, but you're going to, as a trade-off, just get the mood and the feel of Lorelai and Rory just walking through the town in the morning to go grab a coffee, or just going through the middle of the day and seeing what events are going on, whether it's, the Harvest Festival because it's autumn, or just like the hay bale maze. Like it's more of a vibe check in that regard and closer in that. But both towns for me just checked off all the boxes that they needed to.
I would agree. I would say every town we've been in, I've really enjoyed in different ways. I think last year just felt a little bit, maybe it was also the nostalgia of a lot of attendees that had been in Connecticut with us for so many years and left to go to Maine for 2 years, or maybe skipped and went to Canada. And when we went back to Connecticut, it felt very like, oh, we're back in Connecticut. I flew into the same airport that I knew, or I drove the same 95. I'm not quite sure what it was. But I had a lot of feedback of, oh, this just feels really good. But I have a similar mindset. I loved Unionville. I'd be glad to go back. I loved Gunquit. I'd be glad to go back. But I think there's something that people really want for an event to be in Connecticut that's Gilmore Girls. It's just something that feels a certain way to people. And maybe maybe that's all it is. It's just because it's Connecticut. I don't know. But we were very glad when the town welcomed us back. We were very glad when they said we could move the tent to the green. And for me, I like the challenge of trying this event somewhere in a different spot. And so just trying to make the tent work and figuring out how we're going to use it is kind of an obstacle for me. Just after years of planning it, I kind of like something to give me a challenge.
Yeah, I definitely think Guilford feels like Stars Hollow. It feels like a small, walkable downtown center with the idyllic, classic white Connecticut church.
Yeah.
And, we spent quite a bit of time in Prime, the steakhouse, because it was like just so central and it was right there. And they had great food. And you could tell that there were other people sitting at the bar who were definitely like locals and everybody knew each other. And, like you said, the bartenders were so personable and they recognized you over the weekend and were so accommodating and welcoming and just like some excellent service. And even we were standing in line. I think we were waiting to meet. I think it was Greg that we were waiting to meet. And a woman comes by and is like, what is even happening here? And it turns out she's like a professor at Yale or has some connection to Yale. And she's a local. And she just stood there chatting to us for 10 or 15 minutes, just getting a vibe on all of these random people in her town and was like, oh yeah, I live in New Haven. But I grew up here. And it was just so quintessentially idyllic small town. And it felt so homey and like something you would see in an episode of the show. And that really sets it apart from Ogunquit a little bit, as much as I loved downtown Ogunquit. I loved how close everything was in Ogunquit. I guess that was like the one very, very minor downside was that like you could walk to the fairgrounds, but it would be a little dicey. And
lodging in Ogunquit was the best it ever has been. We typically go to these small towns and it's really hard to find a place with hotels nearby, or if there's a hotel, they're kind of sometimes pretty pricey, or there's very few Airbnbs. That was great about Ogunquit. It was everyone could walk in, so I can understand that. But I also love that once I parked in Guilford, I just walked everywhere, and it was kind of nice to be like, I can walk. It's a little bit of a hike to the fairgrounds, but also there's a lot of ride sharing happening at FanFest, and a lot of get in the car, come here, I'll take you. And so hopefully that also plays a role. But yeah, I'm a creature of habit. I ended up getting coffee every morning at Bellevue, and I went to, I think, come on an Indian restaurant like 4 times in a week. I just kept going back to the same places. And so I'll check out Prime this year.
Yeah, that happens to us all the time, basically. No matter where we are, we have our spots that we find and we're like, let's just go there. And so we're coming a day early this year, specifically to check out all the things we missed last year. I'm so glad that we're able to sort of like book it in advance so that we're there, we're settled, we're relaxed, we've slept, we're not rolling up 5 minutes before opening ceremonies.
Oh, fun. I've heard good things about, there's a new restaurant coming next to Quattro's in the corner over by Cilantro's called either Char and Lemon or Lemon and Char. I don't know which one it is, but it's like a pizza place that apparently is supposed to be really good. It's a chain. It's also, there's another location in Oxford, Connecticut, and they should be opening like September, October. And so you have to, if you get there early, when you get there, you can tell me if it's any good.
We're pro pizza, so it's old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, just going back to what you said about the first selectman, Matt Hoey, just wanting to be involved, having his daughters wanting to be a part of the event, and him even introducing the event in 2024. What has it been like to work with him in the local council in the lead up to 2025? Has it just been smooth sailing since you guys did this last year? Are you trying to revamp or like redo anything better for this year?
Yeah, they've been terrific. They've been extra welcoming, one of the most welcoming towns we've ever been to. Very pro FanFest, very excited to have us back. I think they asked if we'd come back before even we started the event of like, we'll do this next year. And I said, well, let's see how this goes and see how people like it first. Terrific. What are some of the things we've worked out? So last year it was more of like, I think it's hard when you go to a town for the first time. They're not really paying close attention to your previous events. They just know, oh, we got some good recommendations. It went well. Yes, we'll have you here. No one quite understands what I mean by these people have to eat and they're going to want to drink. So we need to have restaurants open. And so I just don't think it really clicked last year. And so we tried really hard to get some food trucks to the tent area. The hard part with that is it's October in Connecticut, and there are football games, there's county fairs. Every food truck is going to go somewhere where there's 20,000 people and not 700 people. And so it was really hard to get food last year. And so I, early on in this process, said, hey, we need to go to the green, and we really need places to stay open later. And so that's kind of what they've been kind of helping me with. There's, I talk to Matt regularly, at least once a month. And then we talk with, they have a director of development. I've talked to him, and I've talked to the Parks Department. They've been super instrumental in helping us make sure everything just kind of lines up and sorts out. And then they've helped us get a hold of some of the businesses to make sure that, there'll be food late at night. There'll be, drinks available. There'll be coffee. I think last year they were like, it's 6 o'clock and there's no coffee, because it's a small town, and it shuts down pretty quickly. And so I think working with them again, they see the big picture too. It's not me trying to explain what this looks like. It's kind of like when someone tells you about FanFest for the first time. You think you know what you're getting into until you get there and you're like, oh, that's what they meant by this. That's what they meant by this. And so I think that probably plays a role into how this year will go, is the town can compare it to last year. When I say, oh, how last year we did this year we'd like to try this, it makes a little bit more sense. So they've been terrific. I think they're very excited. I think the business owners are excited. The local people understand that we're a really good group. We're friendly. We're not gonna like really cause any rubble rousing. We should be mostly out of their way and just adding to the charm of October in Connecticut. So
yeah. So for anyone who hasn't come before, are there any sort of like fun surprises or things to explore? What can they expect from the town, the shops, the restaurants around the green for this year? Is there any kind of additional information you have about what's going on around us?
Gosh,
this year?
fun surprises. I think when you've never been to FanFest before, everything's a fun. I don't know if that shut off for a second. What I was going to say is, I think if you've never been to FanFest, everything's kind of a fun surprise. Nothing is going to be exactly what you think. We've tried really hard over the years to incorporate ways for new people to feel included, whether that is when we start off the event right before the welcome or right after the welcome. I think it's right before. After registration, we do like a meet and greet with Marcus and I, so you can like understand like there's some new people around. Anyone that's new here, you can kind of see a friendly face. If you see him this weekend, say hi, introduce yourself. We have a meetup during the middle of the event so that they also feel like if they haven't met anyone yet, maybe they're kind of coming out of their shell and they realize I need to make a friend. I'm feeling kind of awkward, or like I've gone halfway through. I want to make a new acquaintance. We do like a mid-weekend meetup. In terms of surprises, the schedule will come out really soon. It should be out tomorrow, or it should be out July 15th, which by the time this comes out, may mean, well, the timing of it is funny. I'm waiting on a few things to pop out, but in the next few days, we should have the whole schedule out. So I guess there won't be any real surprises. I know you guys heard the news that all of our cast has been announced. We have 12 cast members coming. Our very last one was Kelly Bishop, which was a big, fun surprise at the very end. I think that's probably the biggest surprise I could have pulled off. That felt a little like magic. We have some fun new guests. We have not had Matt Newton before. He is one of the cast members that grew up in Guilford. He was a special guest star on the show for an episode. There are some returning guests that we haven't had in a while. George Bell used to come to the event many times in a row, and he has not been back for a couple years. So we're very excited about him. Let's see. Olivia Hack has never been to Connecticut for one of our events. She went on the cruise with us in January, and she was in not Toronto, Unionville, Canada with us, but she's not been to an event in Connecticut. So that's kind of fun. Let's think. Honestly, I feel like the businesses in town want to contribute a little bit more. So you might see a little bit more pop-ups from the local shops. I think you're going to see a cast that knows their way around Guilford now. Sometimes the cast is a little, not timid, but when they're somewhere new, they don't know where they're going either. Well, now they can confidently walk around, the people that were there last year, and say, oh, that's my favorite this. And you'll see them say, oh, drop me off early. I want to go get, breakfast over here. Or, I want to make sure I see that place again. And so I think those are the kind of surprises that I like to let people experience, is running into a cast member when you're trying to get your lunch somewhere. I think that's kind of really fun. But yeah, for the most part, I think that Guilford is the same. There's apparently a few new businesses in town. I haven't met all the business owners, and there's a few places that wanted to get involved this year that weren't involved last year. So I think there'll be an element of newness for all of us, especially being on the town green. I think it'll feel really quaint and like charming. The fact that we're just all in our big tent.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned the cast and crew that are going to be attending and you dropped some names, Kate, can you run us through the list of everybody who's going to be in Connecticut this fall?
All right, let me grab this list. Eris Alvarado, one of our FanFest stars, Stan Zimmerman, Emily Carota, Kathleen Wilhoit, Shelley Cole, Nick Holmes, Olivia Hack, Vanessa Morano, George Bell, Matt Newton, Valerie Campbell, and of course our queen, Kelly Bishop.
It's a great list, and I say it every year, but this is really fun. I'm not even any better than ever. I just mean like it's always comes together in such a fun way. But this one really excites me. There are a lot of people that we really adore. There's also always a lot of people that we just can't invite everyone every year, and so there's people that we'll miss. There's people that we hope we'll see again. There's people that couldn't make it that wanted to. Which is kind of the beauty of a big cast. You can have different people every year. You can have people that return every year because they kind of keep the feel there, but then you have these new people that pop in and pop out that haven't been for a while. I think that kind of makes it a little bit special too, just having a little bit of variety. And so hopefully, if you've never been to FanFest, you'll see a face that you are really surprised and couldn't wait to meet, and you might see a face that you didn't even know you wanted to get to know. Someone that you're like, I didn't even realize how much I love this person. I think that's what's really fun about it, is meeting the cast members in real life, to be like, they're nothing like their character. I love that person. One of the biggest surprises to me is always still Emily Crota. Her personality is nothing like Miss Kim. She could not be nicer. She could not be more relatable. She's just so easy. And it always cracks me up because I keep thinking she's going to yell at me or something. And she would never. She's so fun. And so I think that those are the kind of moments you have where you realize these people that are so talented, they're also people. They're like incredible people, they're not just actors. They have many, many talents and many, many sides, and they are multidimensional, incredible humans that give so much of their time up for this event. It's that, I mean, I'll never not be grateful for who they all are as people.
Yeah. And that's what I also love about this event too, is that you bring in crew members. So when you can have people there like Stan and like Valerie, you know, we always watch this show from start to finish, and then we'll just restart it again and go back to season 1 as soon as we're done. But you never stop and really think like, what went into that? Or how was it actually done? How did that come, you know, to fruition? And so having those crew members there to also give you just that background noise on how everything was pieced together is something that I don't think you can get from any other event. So I'm always just so delighted when you can bring those people in as well.
Yeah, you know, it's really fun. George Bell always has so many great stories. He was, you know, one-on-one with so many of the cast members as the dialogue coach. And so I'm also very excited for you guys to see him for the first time. I don't think you've met him before, right? Okay, for the first time. He's incredible. And I had an idea. It hasn't, I haven't fully forged it yet. So I guess I'm just kind of sharing it here for the first time. On the schedule I've had on Friday night, typically we do our Friday night as our cast panel, and Saturday nights our crew, Friday nights our crew panel, and Saturday nights our cast panel. Kind of the pinnacle event of the weekend is the end of Saturday is the cast panel. But I had this idea for the crew panel on Friday this year to be the crew inside and outside of Stars Hollow, because I kind of wanted to shed light on what do crew members do. Like what you're saying is like, you know, not just your show, but the people behind it. And so talking about like, what does a crew do? And I wanted to have George and Valerie and Stan, but I also am inviting, and haven't confirmed the people yet, so I don't want to share it, some other people from the cast that play crew members on other shows, like writers, director, producers, casting, like those kind of things, theme songs, like things that they've done on the other side of Stars Hollow, to say, hey, what is a crew? Like what are some of these moments that we don't realize happen on TV, and what does that look like? And so I'm working with someone that's putting that panel together. And so hopefully that's something kind of magical and special that's a little bit different this year, is the crew panel will be more than just the three of them from the crew. It'll also be a few cast members that are kind of tie together the elements of the crew inside and outside of the show. So hopefully it'll be fun.
That sounds awesome.
I am not at all intrigued, and that is sarcastic. Yeah. But talk to us about the event itself. So it starts Thursday night, specifically for those attendees who managed to buy tickets on day 1 when they went on sale, and then it runs through Sunday afternoon. For those people who are coming, even just for Thursday through Sunday, maybe can only make it for one day or a day and a half, those who are coming early, staying late, what advice would you give to attendees to help them make the most out of their weekend and their time in Guilford and within the state of Connecticut as a whole?
Gosh, I think I would go with a plan. Things that you absolutely don't want to miss, because inevitably you will get stopped and you'll see a friend and you'll forget that you had something on your schedule, or you'll, decide you really want to finish this lunch with so-and-so because a cast member came by and you're talking to them, but you forgot about this. I set alarms on my phone of things that I can't miss during FanFest throughout the day. And I'm like, 1:00, you have to walk this way. And so there's certain things that I let fly around because I have, we have volunteer staff. We've put everything in place. But for me, the things I don't want to miss, I set timers on my phone. And so, I want to experience it all too, but I think it's impossible to be everywhere at FanFest. You're always going to have this like kind of FOMO feeling of like, if I go to this, I'm going to miss this, or, oh man, there's this impromptu meetup and a bunch of people are going over here. It's not possible. There's like, 700 people going 700 different ways. And so I make a plan. I plan out, but I'm a planner. I love to plan. We always plan out like, what are some places we want to eat before or after FanFest? Or if I was going to have one meal a day, what would I eat? Because inevitably I get busy and I'll grab apple, or I'll grab banana, or I'll grab something, and I don't, sit down for a proper breakfast. And so I would go and know like, what are your must do's, your people that you want to meet and meet and greet? What lines do you absolutely want to make sure you're in? I don't know for a fact because I've never stood in lines at FanFest, but I think you can possibly meet everyone that's there in a meet and greet if you just want to go and meet everyone and make sure you're meeting them at their meet and greet. If not, sometimes you think, oh, I've seen this person already outside of the line. I don't need to wait in that meet and greet line. I'm going to go see a friend. But I don't know. That might be a better question for you guys of like, what would you tell people? Because I'm not experiencing it the same way. I'm experiencing it from how do I make sure I'm in the places I need to be? But I don't know what that looks like as an attendee.
Oh, we love to plan too. And every year, once the schedule comes out, I make like a Google Doc with a time breakdown and I slot things in and we discuss our priorities of like, okay, well, last year we met this person, so maybe we don't stand in line for them and we do this instead, or we use this as our lunch break and we have to pad in time to eat. And, it might even be a little different for us than other attendees because we have been running panels and games the last few years. And so we have to adjust for time to get ready for those things and to make sure that we've got enough time to get set up and account for all of that. And so, and on top of that, so we plan out what we want to do, but we also plan out what we want to wear.
Yeah,
so that's another one. Yeah. So,
you have to plan it all. You have to plan, where you're going to eat, what are you going to do, where are you going to go, how are you going to get there? What time is bedtime? What time are you waking up? Like you have to think about these things because there is so much going on. Over the years, I fall into two camps. One is there should be 2 or 3 things going on at all times, which is what we did when our events were really, really big and people got mad because they'd missed things. And then the other camp I'm in the last few years is try to overlap them so that if you want to go to everything, you could. Meaning like you're not going to go because you're not going to miss it because they're at the exact same time. I try to overlap them a little bit. That does get a lot more not cumbersome, a lot more tricky on logistics of getting people there and the volunteers and making sure it all lines up. And I don't know what people prefer because sometimes I think if there's events that overlap, they're like, well, I missed it this year, I'll go next year. And so maybe it adds an element of surprise for them. But sometimes people say there's too many things I didn't get to eat or I didn't get to do this or that. And so I always just say FanFest is your own weekend. It's your trip. It's your experience. It's your moment to be there. And so whatever that looks like to you, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Whether you don't plan anything or you plan everything, whether you make it to everything or you just go to the panels at night. I will say one thing I would always plan ahead for is weather. Bring things for different weathers because that's one thing that no matter what I plan the weather. So make sure you have some warm clothes and some layers for Connecticut weather. But that's the only thing that I would strongly encourage.
I would also say, just as a general rule, just always have water with you or like a protein drink or just even a bag of chips, something that you can very quickly just, snack on that you can drink while you're in line. There's a lot of walking that you're going to do, especially if you're trying to hit up all of the places in Guilford, and hydration is key. So maintaining that and just having some water on hand or just something to keep you going and energized throughout the day is always just a pro tip.
Yeah. And people always tell me a battery pack. What are they called? Portable charger. What do you say?
Portable charger.
Somewhere to charge your phone. Charge your phone, a light layer, a snack. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to tell me to pack a snack. There's always a snack in my bag. So I do agree with that, though. Pack some water, pack a snack. Wear a smile. That's all I was saying.
And luckily in the Guilford Green, like right central is a little market. So if you're desperate for something or you need a refill, it's right there on that one of the main streets, right next to Prime, I think, really.
That's right. It's right there. It's all right there. You're not far, especially with the tent on the green this year. You're not even a fourth a mile from probably about anywhere you want to go besides maybe your lodging. Everything kind of just offshoots from the little green. So
don't worry too hard about oh no, I must, come prepared like a Girl Scout. But think ahead and book in some time to eat and to get a refresher coffee midday.
And I don't often do that. I don't book in time for everyone to eat. I just assume that everyone's going to find the time to slip out and eat something. So Marcus says every year, why don't you book like an hour for lunch? I'm like, we have too much to do. We can't book hours for lunch. There's too much to do. If the festival is longer, if it was like 4 days long, maybe there'd be some meal times, but I'm always afraid people are going to want to come and do everything. And so it's not meant to exhaust you. It's meant for you to have choices.
Yeah, definitely come prepared, but go with the flow at the same time. Like listen to your body, listen to your energy.
Yeah.
Change your mind if you must. But I would come with a plan. We always do. And we're never really like disappointed in the planning that we do not going exactly to fruition, because sometimes you just have to allow fun things to fall into your lap that you weren't expecting. So, don't plan, but don't be too rigid about it. I think that's the best advice.
That's a great idea.
But also now that we are in 2025, this continues to blow my mind every time I think about it. But we are celebrating 25 years of Gilmore. And I just think back to high school me just coming into this show, and it feels like yesterday, but it doesn't feel like yesterday. And I just can't believe it's been that long. But here we are still just celebrating it and just reveling in it. And so I want to ask, how has knowing that this is the 25th anniversary shaped your planning, if it has at all, in terms of what you're hoping for attendees to get out of this year?
It's funny. I think that every year I feel the need to try to make something not old, but something old new. Like we always want to make sure people are feeling like they're experiencing this for the first time, that they're, hearing a story that they love in a new way. I think that knowing that it's the 25th anniversary, I always go into it wanting to make the weekend special. But I was really cognizant of the fact of, I hope that over the last 10 years, we've gotten all of the things that we've learned, and that every year it just gets better. And so, like I said, Guilford to me feels like this incredible town, and getting it on a green feels like it lined up. Getting the cast members that we did seemed like a great win. I always want it to feel special, whatever year it is, but I'm very aware of it's the 25th anniversary, and that we're all still lucky to have a show that we love, that we can still resonate with, that we're, passing on to younger friends. My children are really excited. They really want to watch the show this year and the next year. I keep telling them, wait a little bit longer, I want to hear older. And they're of an age now where all of their friends have seen this show, and I'm still like, well, I want to watch it with you, so just give me some time. And so I think that I'm very aware of the staying power of the Gilmore Girls, and I'm very aware that the cast has to also love this show, or they wouldn't still be here. It's really obvious that the attendees still love it. We still have probably half of our attendees are repeat people every year, more than half. And so it's nothing that I really do to make it special every year. It's more of like, how do we keep this going so that the people that make it special are all in the same spot? It's people like you guys that keep talking about Gilmore Girls. It's people like you that show up and say, how can we help? What can we do? I do very little once I get there. I do all the behind the scenes stuff, but it's ran by the people that want to be there, that want to contribute, the cast that want to show up, the fans, the podcasters, the book authors, the people. I mean, it's all of us. It's how do you keep something alive that's really special to you, and that's kind of why I guess we're all still here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, speaking of keeping things, you were keeping a major secret until Friday with,
That's right.
With keeping Miss Kelly Bishop in your back pocket. Can you tell us a little bit about the process and kind of how that all unfolded and what it was like to keep that secret from all of us for so long?
Yeah, it was partly a secret and partly I wasn't certain it was going to happen. Of course, we want everyone. If I had it my way, we'd have everyone in the cast there every year, and we just relive the show over and over and over. But the moment that we started talking to Kelly's agent, just kind of like walked through that, I thought, if this is a possibility, this would be such a fun year, such a fun surprise. We've been doing this for so long. Like we said, that show's 25th anniversary. This could be really special if we were able to make someone that means so much to people just come on stage and be able to not just us celebrate her. I mean, her allow us to celebrate her, but to maybe make her feel just as special. Let her know after 25 years, this character that you brought to life, we love. And so I do have on one of my suggested attires, how I always put like what I think you should wear the night of the cast meal. I would like people to dress up in their favorite Emily outfit, because I thought at least we all have a boa. We all have something. We can all bring a tweed. We can all do something. We each have, someone has a martini glass. And so I think that if we could just display this genuine excitement to her, I hope that it's, I hope it means something to her too. And so it was really fun. It was an opportunity for us to walk through like the excitement. Very rarely are things surprising to us because we're planning it all. And so I didn't know that it was going to happen. It took a long time. It was a lot of phone calls, a lot of discussions. And then I kind of felt like for a little while, I thought, well, I think she said yes, but I'm not going to announce her until I get the yes, yes, yes. Like I wanted like confirmation on my confirmation on my confirmation. And so that was fun. It was fun to surprise people. It was fun to say, hey, we have a surprise that we've held on to. And I think because she was the very last guest we announced, it took a little while to get them all out. And so being able to share the rest of the cast with her at the bookend of it was really fun.
Yeah, we are excited to meet her, but as we are for all of the casting crew, whether they've been there before or not, it's just, we are literally counting down the days. I have a timer on my phone that just says hours, days, minutes, whatnot. I think a lot of other people have something similar. So we're not all excited to be there, excited to be there. But let's just pivot a little bit now to what the casting crew are going to be doing while they're there in terms of the schedule, which should hopefully be out at the time that if you're watching this, you're seeing this recording. So can you tell us what events are you bringing back this year that people have already experienced in the past in terms of panel content? And is there anything new that you're bringing into this year's event?
Yeah, so all of the cast and crew that are coming, all 12 of them are doing meet and greets, which we have all the time now. Those will be just kind of run how they always have been. In a panel, whether it's the cast panel or the crew panel or another type of panel, we'll definitely have the coffee monologues. We'll definitely have a costume contest. We always have new categories for that. Someone made a good suggestion this year, and I thought, oh, that's really smart. I won't share all the categories now, but one of them, she was like, hey, there's a lot of kids that come to FanFest and none of us can compete with their cuteness. Can we have a kids only category? And I was like, oh my gosh, what a good idea. Only kids, that way they win. The kid always wins, right? Like, what a fun idea. And I thought, I forget that when we first started, a lot of us were 10 years younger and either didn't have kids or they were babies. And now a lot of us have I have 3 teenagers. We have kids that could come to FanFest, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And so incorporating that, like trying to think of younger generations that come so that it's not just the grown-ups. They're new for this year. What are some new things? I'm re-envisioning the crew panel. We're doing musical bingo. We did it on the cruise this year with Sam. She actually runs a campsite in Michigan, the Starlight campground. And she was like, hey, I do this at the camp we run. Can we try musical bingo? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. It was so fun. It was so fun. And I thought, she said, can I do it at FanFest? I was like, oh my gosh, this will be so fun in October. And so she did it on the cruise and we all had a blast. And so she's bringing that back. Of course, we'll have some trivia. Of course, we'll have karaoke. We're doing some more tastings of some of the businesses. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff. We have some, I mean, of course, you guys are doing, I don't know if you want to share what you're doing.
Yeah. Kate, go for it.
Well, Gilmore's Against Humanity is coming back for its third year. It's already well underway. We've picked all of our memes and we've already started organizing the cards. Like each year we push back the prep for it earlier and earlier because it's so much work, but it's truly a labor of love and it's so much fun and it's so funny. And, you know, we were planning a lot last weekend. Laura was visiting, helping me pack and move a few things. And so we're just sitting there laughing at all of the hilarious screenshots that we were able to grab. So get ready for some hilarity there. And our second panel isn't quite as formed yet, but we're toying around with an idea that's sort of like loosely based around the Newlywed Game.
Yep, so I think it'll be fun. Well, from what I've heard, I think it'll be really fun. With that, we have, let's see, what else was on there that there were, of course, Kathleen's going to sing again. We'll have a choir. We'll definitely do some of the other things. Do you know the Gavin Gilmore podcast? Those girls.
Oh yeah,
They're coming on. I think they're coming Friday to do this unanswered Gilmore questions with two of the cast members. We're putting them on. I know that there is a Matt Browning. He's an author he's doing a pop culture book that comes out soon. It was going to be October and then it's not come out yet. So I don't know when it's coming out. I don't want to mislead anyone. But he's coming to do an event and I think he's playing like a little pop culture kind of game with it and giving away some copies. And then Christine Eckert has her book coming out this year. So she's going to do a book signing and I think they're doing like a raffle for some really fun thing at the library or at the bookstore. We will have the other realm back, the one who did a bunch of covers last year. He's coming to be a troubadour again. What else are we doing? Nick will be taking photos. Jess with Oi with the Cups Already is doing like a DIY kind of like cup wrap event, which is really fun. She's awesome.
On brand.
We love her.
Yeah, she's terrific. She's so fun and she's such a good presence at FanFest and just throughout the year just for the festival. What else are we doing? We're going some new places. We're doing a meet and greet at the Whitfield Museum, which I didn't go to last year, but apparently they also have sometime over the weekend a chocolate making class, which sounds really fun. What else are we doing? We're doing some musical theater dancing. Tara Calise, who did the Stress Tap dancing last year, wanted to do like a musical theater kind of production. What else are we doing? Oh, the Arthur Murray Dance Studio is going to do a dance lesson on the twist, which will come in handy for our Pulp Friction dance party. There's that. There's a bunch of things that are new and a bunch of things that are a take off of something we've done in the past, or there's things that, you know, are the same but done in a different way. Overall, it's the same thing you'll always love about FanFest. It's too many events, too little sleep, a lot of smiles, and a lot of just being together. I don't think that we get the opportunity to be around as many people at FanFest in our normal lives that are as like-minded as us. Or I don't specifically see people all the time in my real world that are like, we're all loving the same thing, walking around with big smiles on our face. That doesn't happen in my big city I live in. Is like, it's very neat for me to walk around Guilford and see a bunch of very happy people that love some of the things I do. And so we'll have on the schedule some suggested attire for some cosplay. We'll have some add-on meals. I haven't launched or announced those, and those won't be on the schedule yet, but we're trying to add some meals in some places around town. One of them I think will be really kind of a fun opportunity. And so very excited about the schedule, very excited about the lineup, very excited about October. I love the feeling of going back to the same place for the second time. It just feels kind of like a return home. And so as much as I loved Guilford last year, I'm confident I'll like it even more this year.
And just bouncing off of what you said about the smiles too, like meeting the cast and crew is phenomenal. But I see this question pop up every single year in the Facebook planning group of, oh, I'm coming by myself. This is my first time. Should I even bother buying a ticket? What will my experience be like if I don't have anybody to come with? And I think that anybody who has attended, whether you're coming with a spouse, a partner, a friend, your kids, will always say, no, like come by yourself.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody in line, strike up a conversation. Everyone there is just so warm and welcoming. You will make more friends than you can count on both of your hands by the end of the weekend. You will go home with these amazing lifelong friendships and just, these awesome experiences. So don't be afraid to travel solo if you're traveling solo, and talk to somebody. Ask them what team they're on. Ask them what their favorite season is.
Sorry, my kids just got home from camp.
That's okay. But case in point, you will still have the most unbelievable weekend, even if you're coming by yourself, because everyone there will just always talk to you pretty much like they've known you forever.
Yeah, the funny part is I even over the years have had friends that went by themselves because their husbands or their sister or whoever was like, I'm not going to go to that. I'm not that big of a fan. And then they saw how much fun their person had, and they're like, can I come with you? And they're like, no, that's my weekend. I'm going alone. And I love to go alone. And so it's funny. You have like both sides of the coin of like, okay, so I'm going to tell you what's happening back there. They caught some crabs yesterday at the beach, and I think they got loose. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's what's happening is I got home from camp. They're checking on the crabs, and I keep seeing them scream and jump out the window. So I'm pretty sure they're catching either a crab or a lizard. They have both in the backyard. So sorry about that. But yes, you can come alone. You can come with a friend. You can come with a friend and then spend time alone. I mean, there's people that come. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever divide up for a little bit, but like you can go with a friend and then say, hey, I'm going to go check out this. You're going to check out this. And you still won't be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, once you're at FanFest, there is a place for everyone. We're a really welcoming group. Everyone has a really good time. Everyone feels really comfortable. I've never seen anyone say I came by myself and I really wish I would have brought someone. Everyone always has a response of like, I came alone and I had the best time. So hopefully that's the case for everyone. And hopefully we offer enough opportunities for people to feel very confident coming by themselves.
Yeah. What's the update on the ticket situation? How quickly do people need to jump on the website and get tickets? How close are we to selling out?
So that's an interesting perspective because every year, usually it's in July that I decide how many chairs are we going to get and how big is the tent, because that is based on the budget. And so the budget's based on how many tickets we've sold. I would say we don't have that many tickets left because early July, I decided what the event size would be. And then we made our last cast announcements and we've sold some tickets. So I'm certain it'll sell out in the next few weeks. I don't know how soon. I mean, that could be someone decides next week that they're going to listen to this podcast and share it with their closest 20 friends. They're going to buy all the tickets. There's nothing left. So it'll happen. It sells out every year at some point. I would say in the next few weeks, we'll probably be at a point where you don't want to miss out. So I always say like get your tickets as soon as possible because I never know. It's not like there's so many tickets per day. There's only so many tickets at all. And so once they're gone, and I can't change the size of the tent once the contracts go through or add more chairs. And so yeah, hopefully people are making plans now because it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great weekend. And we'll, like I say, every year we'll keep doing this as long as people show up. And so hopefully we get to see our friends for a really long time.
Yeah. If we have anything to say about it,
right,
we will. So we'll include a link to the website below where you can check it out, see, the schedule once it's been released, purchase tickets for yourself. But this is not the only event that you do every single year. Lately, you've also incorporated a FanFest cruise, which will also be happening again in 2026. So can you talk to us a little bit about that, when that's going to happen, where that cruise leaves from, where it goes to, what that entails, and just give us a little bit of background about that event too?
The cruise was way more fun than I ever expected. It was super different in the sense that it was not Connecticut. It was on a boat. We were not the only people on this celebrity cruise ship last year. We won't be the only people this year. It's so intimate and so fun and so small that it reminds me of what, like we did a small event in Kent one year before we went to Toronto or to Unionville. We did a small event, the secret event. They feel different. They feel like you're just hanging with your friends, which FanFest does too, but FanFest feels very busy and lots of things. And this feels not more intentional, but it's just smaller. It's like, you know, you get together with 100 friends versus you get together with 10 friends. It's just a different type of event. It's magical in the sense that we're in new locations, experiencing new things together. It was really fun to eat dinner, you know, to dress up every night and to sit and be served multiple courses and just kind of sit and hang out with your friends. There's entertainment on the boat. So if, you know, once we finish our panels, it was kind of fun to be like, oh, let's go dance at the whatever place. Let's go sit by the pool and have a drink, or let's wake up early and get coffee and watch the sunrise, or let's go sit and eat food all day long. Whatever your kind of thing is, it's kind of like FanFest in the sense that you get to do whatever you want when you want to do it. And there's like 2 itineraries. There's FanFest and there's the ship. And then we try not to fill it a lot. We actually tried to make sure that people could do a little bit of everything. The feedback we got was incredible. People seem to really love it, so much so that we added another day. Instead of a three-night cruise, we're doing a 4-night cruise. It's February 2nd through 6th out of Fort Lauderdale. We're doing a day at Coco Cay, which is one of Celebrity's private islands. It's just basically a big, beautiful island in a water park. And then we're stopping in Nassau, Bahamas, and they'll have their new private beach set by the time we sail. So that'll be a really nice amenity. And then we're doing a day at sea, which I think will be a really fun day for FanFest because we can fill the day with as much FanFest stuff as we want and just kind of enjoy each other that way. So we do still have some tickets. I shrunk the group so it would be really small. And so I don't think we have many left. I think we might have 15 tickets left for the cruise. And so I would love for that to sell out too, so that we could kind of get to making plans. I like to wait till we've sold all the tickets before I make the plans to be like, oh, how big is the group? What can we do? And so we have a great cast for that one. Someone that's going that cruise that hasn't been to our festival in a while is Liz Torres. And so it'll be fun to see Liz. And then some of the same people are coming, and then some different people. We haven't seen Sheila Lawrence in a while, and I adore her. It'll be a great group. And so whether you can make it in October or you can make it in February or you can make it to both because you're extremely lucky, we would love to see you either place. And I don't think there's a wrong way to go. I think that in a perfect world, I would want to go to both because they're both so different, and they're just, anytime I can be around any of you guys, it's just a lot of fun.
We are looking forward to seeing you, to seeing Marcus, to seeing everybody this fall. We've made so many friends ourselves that we just can't wait to get back with everybody. And we will include links to all of, the websites that you should check out in the description below, specifically the FanFest website where you can buy tickets to both events. We will also include a link to the Facebook planning group, which is honestly like one of the best resources that I've ever seen come out of this event, because if you have unanswered questions, you can just post something there and it will get answered within 30 seconds because everyone is just so willing to help you out. So check out that and just like that page as well, because you will not go into FanFest unprepared as long as you're following that page.
100%. It's the best thing for us too, because sometimes this isn't my full-time job. It's just something we've done for fun for the last 10 years. And so I check our email as often as I can, but I don't get to it every single day. Sometimes I'll go a day or two and I'm like, oh, I've got to go onto the FanFest emails. But if you ask a question in the planning group, I am certain you will have your question responded to. Maybe you haven't gotten the answer yet, and they might tag me and say, hey, Jenny, can you answer this? Did you see this? And I'll get to it that way because I'll notice the notification. But honestly, most of the time your questions are answered. And so I would also agree that the planning group is the best resource for getting fast answers. And if not, you can always email us and I'll respond as soon as I can. But the planning group, it's everything about this whole event is kind of sourced by you guys, making sure that everyone's kind of there for each other.
Yeah.
So Kate, why don't you wrap us up and just, again, remind everybody the dates that this is happening, where it's going to be, how you can get a ticket if you haven't already, and maybe just add one little fun nugget for yourself about an experience that you've had and why people should come back.
Oh boy. Okay.
Or attend for the first time.
It's the 17th to the 19th, right, of October. Mm-hmm. Okay. The FanFest website is where you can go to buy tickets. which again will be linked. We'll link all the social media as well so that everybody can go kind of see all the posts and the countdowns and the hype and the tips and everything. It's sometimes it's like the anticipation is just as fun as the actual event, and so we're definitely into crunch time now. Oh, a nugget. I don't know. Like, do you have a good nugget? I'm blanking on good nuggets.
I'm going to say that your nugget would be the tokens that you did last year, which I know you're planning on revamping for this year, but she made some wonderful Gilmore Girls bracelets that she is making again for this year to pass out in little baggies. They're all themed. But I loved seeing the response that attendees had last year to her bracelets, because she just laid them out on a table and it was just like a swarm of bees just coming to people who wanted to grab some. So if you see us this year, especially like just come find Kate and ask her for a bracelet. She will have more than enough to give away.
I think last year I think I had over 300, and this year there will be at least as many or more. So I might just like leave them somewhere and be like, take as many as you want. And then if you've got a token, find me and just like hand it off, because handing them out last year was a logistical nightmare. But they're so much fun to make.
You to make 300 bracelets.
A couple months, doing a couple a day. I don't know. They only take, depending on how complex they are, 5 to 10 minutes each. So
wow,
yeah,
that's a labor of love. I appreciate that.
It is. This one says I am kayak.
Oh my gosh.
Really...
We used to have a shirt. I used to have a shirt that said I am kayak. I love that one.
Yeah. So I want to do one little baggie like this for every episode, as well as several for like teams and just sort of random things, and some fan fest themed ones. So it's not ambitious at all.
Yeah. You have nothing else going on, right? You're not moving or doing anything. You're pretty bored.
Yeah. Life's not busy at all.
Mm-mm. No, for none of us. None of us is lacking time. Well,
yeah,
great.
So I guess something to look forward to. I was trying to come up. Yeah, I was like, should I go back or should I say something to expect this year? I don't know for a nugget, but yeah. So if you see these around, just take them again, because I am moving abroad. I do not want to have to take any beads with me. Please take the bracelets and enjoy.
I will take one. My girls will take one too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, you guys. It's nice to see your faces, and I'm really excited to see you again. I'm very excited for the ways that you contribute to the festival, for the ways that you champion it and cheer us on and participate. It means a lot, not just to me, but to the entire community and to all the people that are entertained and just love seeing your smiling faces and the enthusiasm you guys bring to everything. It's really special. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, we are just so grateful for what you and Marcus do every single year. And I know there are hundreds of people who can just stand behind us attesting to that. So you thank us, but we cannot thank you enough, because it would not be something that would ever be existing going into 2025 without the both of you. So
thanks.
Just huge shout out. But it is also just a communal event. It is the people that bring this together. So if you're watching this, share your own experience.
Please
drop us a comment and tell us what you love about the event. Maybe give some tips to first timers or even returning attendees that we have not thought of. This is not just about the three of us talking. We want to hear from you too. So please share your thoughts.
Yep. That's great.
Well, other than that, conversation as always. Great to see you.
For sure. Nice to see you guys. Take care. And I'm sure I'll see you soon, mid-October at the very latest.
Of course. And again, just a last minute tip for everybody. Check out the links in the description below. Get your ticket before they sell out. You will not be disappointed. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us or just shoot an email to Jennie. We'll include her email as well. But all in all, we just hope to see you in October.
Yes.
Be there or be square, and you will never be disappointed.
Do not be square. And on that note, we'll see you next Friday for dinner. Thanks for being here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.